There is now a new controversy or a storm as far as the new uniform or the dress of the staff of the new parliament is concerned. There is now a reaction that's coming in from the Congress, who's hit out the details that we put out earlier in the day of what the new dress or uniform for staff of the new parliament building in fact could look like. And what we had pointed out earlier was that this uniform in fact will have the lotus on it. Just look at the pictures that we are putting out, and this now seems to have become the center of a new controversy, because the question that is now being asked by the opposition is that why would you want to have a uniform with a lotus? Why couldn't you make it more inclusive? Why couldn't you have a peacock or even a tiger as far as the dress for the staff is concerned? So as we pointed out, this uniform or dress which is going to be used for the staff of the new parliament building finding itself the center of a new political controversy. Let's also now first bring in our colleague and senior editor Pallavi, who's joining us on the broadcast. Pallavi, is the point that is being made by the Congress that if you use the lotus is essentially takes on the line of the BJP rather than having it more inclusive?
Well, if you remember when the new parliament building was being inaugurated and that puja was being held, and we got the first sneak preview or look into what the new parliament building looks like, it very clearly showed that there were different artifacts of heritage and culture which were put up. And the lotus was obviously occupying a central place. But the fact at that point of time was that the BJP made it very clear, the government made it very clear that lotus symbolizes a national flower. It also symbolizes what Indian tradition is all about. If we're going to reduce it to the of a myopic way of looking at it, even now when Manikam Tagore, who's a member of parliament for the Congress party, is making this point that why are you not using a peacock, he's of course taking a barb at the BJP and also accusing the government of trying to hijack the entire parliament and by the BJP. This is going to be, I think, the rebuttal coming in from the BJP as well. Look, as far as the new parliament building is concerned, clearly the opposition parties, particularly Ridhima, the India front opposition parties, have not been on the same page as the BJP. They've accused the government of subverting what parliamentary democracy is all about, not involving the opposition parties, switching the mics off, not even showing them. So the new parliament building, which is where the next special session is likely to take place next week, has not been seeing any cooperation coming in from both the sides. The India front parties have been boycotting all the events. It's been mired in controversy. And now the latest one happens to be as far as the uniform is concerned.
Pallavi, we'll just request you to stay on with us. I believe we in fact have a soundbite of Manikam Tagore. Let's listen in.
The parliament staff's dress is going to be changed, and it is going to carry the picture of the lotus. This is the news. Why the government is not ready to put tiger in the parliament of staff's dress? Because tiger is the national animal. Why they are not ready to put the peacock, which is the national bird, in the dress, but they choose the lotus in the dress code of the parliamentary staff? Because the BJP party symbol is lotus. How cheap we are.
Word that's coming in from Congress's Manikam Tagore, who's now hit out at the usage of the lotus as far as the staff for the new parliament building is concerned. We'll request Pallavi to stay on with us. We also have our colleague Payal Mehta now joining us on the broadcast. Payal, the criticism that's coming in is if you use the lotus symbol, it's just petty politics, because that's the symbol as far as the BJP is concerned. Why couldn't the BJP or the centre decide to make the uniform more inclusive?
Well, as far as the uniform is concerned, it's not just the input of the government that is taken over there. It's also the input which is taken in from the chair. Who is the boss of parliament is the Lok Sabha speaker. That's something which one has to really understand. But yes, the BJP and the government will come out and say that lotus might be the party symbol, but lotus is also a symbol of prosperity, because it is said to be, according to Hindu mythology, the Vahan, or the vehicle of Lakshmi, which is a goddess of prosperity as well. So that's the kind of an argument which has come to the fore. But there is no doubt whatsoever that the opposition parties will make this a big issue ahead of the start of the special session of parliament, which is going to take place sometime next week. So obviously we'll expect a lot of fireworks before that as well. But on their front, This must have been an educated call which was taken, and also very interestingly, the security persons have also been given a dress which is very similar to that of the army, which actually signifies the kind of powers that they have, and they're there to protect us. Also, very interestingly, you know, the marshals who are right next to the chair, next to the Lok Sabha Speaker or the Rajya Sabha Chairman, they also been given a special Manipuri headgear is what we are given to understand, and their dress code has also been changed. Now, if you remember a couple of years ago, Ridhima, there was a controversy around the headgear that these marshals were wearing, which looked very, very similar to the bearers, you know, that you remember during the British times as well, and a lot of people had objected to that. That was when Venkaiah Naidu was there in the chair, and they had actually formed a committee to look into the dress code and look into how this can be looked into. So obviously, with the new parliament, with the new setup being put into place, obviously a new dress code has come into place. There are specially designed sarees for the lady marshals and for the lady security personnel, and the lady staff is also what we are given to understand. These are just the basic details that we've been able to access. We are expecting more and more details to come in, and we're expecting to see those dress codes ourselves once we get into Parliament next week.
Okay. Payal, we'll just request you to stay on with us. I want to go back to Pallavi and bring her back in the conversation. And Pallavi, that's exactly going to be the counter as far as the BJP is concerned, that why does parties like the Congress and many others from the opposition make everything about politics? Why aren't they seeing the lotus as a symbol of prosperity?
Yes, and in fact, the pictures which we've begun to put out, I presume, Ridhima, is something which everyone in the opposition space, particularly the Congress party, seemed to be having an objection to. If you remember, when the new Parliament building was inaugurated, it had the Sengol, it had the lotus, peacock motifs. Even that was objected to by the opposition parties, but that suits the narrative of the BJP. It helps the BJP make the point that, look, anything which is got to do with Bhartiyata by the opposition parties, and that they are essentially anti-national. Lotus does not belong to any one political party. It's